good day to everybody watching and listening. This is the first commented playthrough that I am doing, that I have done in large part. I've recorded a couple of hours, 16 episodes to be precise, and I would be lying if I said that everything went perfectly and there were no bugs, and most certainly I am not somebody who realized watching and listening to themselves in the end that I repeat my words a lot. I repeat certain words a lot, and I'm not even sure I like listening to myself. But if you are willing to bear with this, I hope you can watch this and have a lot of fun doing so. Also, one more thing to get out of the way before we start. I have received all 3 DLC for free. The reason for this is because I have, in a very small part, comparatively to others, helped develop the game. And, well, I hope I have made some good and positive changes to repay this kindness. And with that out of the way, I will leave it to my past self, starting the video. Do expect me to repeat words a lot? Do expect me to, I don't know, by maybe episode, what would it be, like 12 or 13, run out of my voice and notice it too late, get interrupted in between, see a few bugs, and hopefully have a lot of laughs. And if you enjoyed this video, let me know. I may or may not make future playthroughs, but if people say it's something they want to watch, then maybe I will make a few more. It's a lot more work than I had originally thought, and I definitely gained a bit of respect for the people who do this all the time. Well, have fun! Hello, and welcome to everybody watching and listening. This is going to be my first Ep1 playthrough, with all 3 expansions, including the new one, the Neinzul Sappers. Now, there's a couple other people out there doing their own playthroughs, and a lot of people are focusing really heavy on the features of the Neinzul Sappers, playing Necromancer and with all the minor factions, and a lot of people playing games that are, well, shall we say, specifically designed to show off the features from the Neinzul Sappers. I'm going to make a bit of a different playthrough. I'm going to make a modded playthrough, playing with 6 mods installed. So the first mod is Exotic Ships, which provides us with new and very interesting ship designs. Extended ship variants is even more ships, but these are mostly just variants from the vanilla ships. Then we have the micro mod collection for some, shall we say, shenanigans. We have more system defenders in order to provide us with more defenses. And we have civilian industries for the civilian industries minor faction. I'm also playing with the Ep1 modding utilities, which provides the 3 mods here: exotic ships, extended ship variants, and the micro mod collection with some utilities to function. Now let's head into the game and create our setup. I'm going to play on a fairly big map with 120 planets. I'm sticking with realistic, but I'm going to use big circle because that creates a really interesting topology in my opinion. With some good choke points, some lanes that go really far and can take you in some cases across the galaxy, but also some, shall we say, outliner planets. And I'm going to pick myself one of these worlds to spawn on, so that we have 2 hops until we can go somewhere in pretty much all directions. As for factions, I'm sticking with the Just Human Empire. We're not playing Necromancer today. When it comes to fleets, since we are going for a very crazy setup, we might as well take a crazy starting fleet. There's a lot of good ones for the EXS. There's also a couple of fleets for just the expansions, and even more fleets from ESV. But as always, you choose which one to take. Now, I think I might just go for the Gravity Fleet, because the Gravity Fleet allows us to start with a couple of very interesting ships that synergize well. I'm also going to go into artillery and divorce defenses. This allows us to set up very good beachheads if we need to, and I'm going to stay with the... I'm going to start with the... What should we pick? Let's pick the acidic factory. Let me just turn these on. Although I'm not going to change any of these numbers here. They can stay the same. I'm going to add 2 AIs, both adaptive any. Well, I'm only going to add one of them. I'm going to make the other adaptive NE as well. So depending on what we start with, we could have an easy or a difficult start. And I'm going to set them to large clusters. This means that the AIs will effectively have their own territory around the galaxy. Now, let's go for some minor factions. First and foremost, civilian industries. And I like to give them some darker greenish tone. Maybe go a bit into blue. Nah, let's not go into blue that much. Let's go for this. I also want to take the human resistance fighters for some fire support. Now, what other factions might we want to play with? I think the Dark Zenith are always a good pick for a chaotic game, especially in the late game stages. Then we can take the Nanocost for some of the mid-game madness. What else might we take? I think it's fair giving the AI some allies. We're going for Sappers. And I'm going to make them a sort of reddish tone. I'm also going to make the AI here a bit more brown. This way we can still differentiate between the two. So what else might we take? Could go for Scourge, but Scourge is really big. And we are probably going to play a long game in which Scourge absolutely dominates. What else might we take? I think I'm going to take 2 Zenith Architrave. And both of them shall be able to wage civil war. This is part of why I'm going for 120 plants instead of just the standard 80. This galaxy is going to be very busy and you need the space for all these factions. What else could we go for? I think Zenith Miners. They should do nicely as well. So, what else do we have? We could go for the Wild Hives, or for the Custodians, or for the Migrant Fleets. I think the Migrant Fleets are a good pick. It adds some objectives to go for. And I think I would like for them to have a green outliner, or green border color, and some very pristine white, or almost white, going into blue. It's probably a bit too blue still. This, I think, is good. So what else might we want? Well, I think we're pretty good now. We could go for the Sappers for our own faction, but that seems rather redundant. Yeah, I think that about sums it up. I don't think I want anything else, so that should be our setup as far as factions are concerned. Now, as you can see, this galaxy is going to be big, it's going to be a bit crazy, and it will be very interesting to see. Oh, hang on, I still wanted the Splinterling Spire, yes, before I forget. This should be fine. And, yeah. Let's go to the setup. So, we need to give ourselves a bit of an edge, because I'm playing with a couple more handicaps and a couple more... what's the opposite of a handicap? I guess things in our favor. First of all, we're playing with the hidden unexplored planets. So we do roughly know where we are and where the galaxy is, but we do not know the exact layout, unless you have a photographic memory. I'm going to go for reasonably random on all the planet sizes. And I don't like randomized mark levels. The rest is pretty normal. So let's go for a bit of increased distance here and here. This allows things to seed further away from us, because otherwise the one choke world that we have right next to our home command station would have basically everything. Some bonus random factions, yeah, sure. Totally random is also good, and they can get random colors. The rest of these options are just fine. AI waves also just fine. AI behavior, I think we need to enhance the Overlord here. Anything else that I would want to add? Oh yeah, the Ultimate Fortress as well as not synced CPAs, Brutal Guardian Layers, and Venators. Unit behavior, let's turn on Intelligent Pursuit. Allies, I like to repair them. And in these settings, definitely use the distributed resource generation mode. And we also bail out to home planets. Well, to our home planet. Also turn off the energy discounts. Then increase the upgrade costs. And that should about be it. Yes. Performance-wise, everything is fine. In the extended settings, we're going to pick a few more options. First of all, I'm going to increase the amount of hacking points we can get. And I'm going to set a 50% variance. Same with science. I'm going to increase that as well. And set a variance. What variance does is it randomizes the amount of science and hacking points that planets can have. So when there's a 50-point variance, then the science points will on average still be, in this case, 3000, but they can go from anywhere of 50% of this value to 150% of this value. So in this case, anywhere between 1500 and 4500. So, anything else you would want to pick? I think the rest is just fine. And these settings are good too. Now, is there anything that I have forgotten? I don't think so. So I think it's time to head right into the early game. Let's call that LP_take 4, because this is take 4, and hopefully it will actually see the light of day.